Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wasteland, an anime podcast. I am one of your lovely, beautiful, charming co-hosts, Danger Dom Esclovon, and I want to welcome Danger Nation back to this show. Joined as always, I am gonna give the floor to my other co-host.
Hey, it's me, Nathaniel Garofalo, the other co-host for Wasteland.
Yeah.
Wow, it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Yeah, Danger Nation, where you at? And then everyone cheers. I don't know if you've realized, but since our first episode, the first 3 episodes of Phantom Blood, and we dropped that, I have developed a little following.
They weren't called Danger Nation, though. I think they were called something else.
No, they're Danger Nation. Now they are, anyway. What were they called before?
It was like, I'm trying to remember. Well, the people who listened probably heard, because, of course, these initial Phantom Blood episodes for JoJo we recorded last year. So there were tons of bits in there that I'm trying to remember.
Danger Nation.
It was not Danger Nation.
Well, it's Danger Nation now. I think the old name was copyrighted or something. It's Danger Nation. We got t-shirts printed. What was it?
It was Dom Tourage.
The Dom Tourage. That ain't bad either. Huh. We got options. You know what? Dom Tourage, that's like After Dark. That's for the adults. Right. Danger Nation, that's everyone else. That's kid friendly, that's family, that's all right. Yeah. You guys come on down to Danger Nation. We're back. It's Wasteland, an anime podcast, as I said up top. We're here to talk JoJo. Episodes, what is it? 4 through 6. 4 through 6. Nice.
Right. So, of course, assuming everyone caught up with the first episode of our podcast, Wasteland's a show mostly about anime where basically we anchor the show around one kind of anime series where we do kind of like a watch along, in-depth discussions, analysis, etc. of each and every episode of a show. To start off our podcast, we're doing it on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which you can watch on Netflix, Hulu, but only the first season. Once we eventually move beyond that, you'll have to get something like Crunchyroll or some other service that has the full show available. But for right now, if you somehow skipped episode 1 and didn't get that information, that's what you need to know.
Yeah, and here you are.
Right. So, we kind of just want to cut to the chase with these first initial episodes where we kind of have this old audio that we haven't released until now. So once we move past that, our podcast is going to kind of open up a bit more, and there's going to be more in-depth, first parts of each episode. For right now, we're just kind of... to bring more people in, we're kind of just cutting to the chase a little bit faster than we would normally and just getting these initial JoJo episodes out to the public. So this part of the first 3 episodes are going to be a little bit shorter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but don't fret. We got plenty of content coming your way, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening, and here's the episode.
This is episode 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood.
Okay.
All right, so JoJo episode 4, JoJo is healing from... It's both... Dio and JoJo are both kind of in their own separate little corners now. They had this huge clash right off the bat.
Right.
And they are both healing in their way to face each other again. JoJo in his little hospital on the hill.
Yeah, with Arena.
Yeah, and Dio lurking in the shadows. I think it starts and we kind of don't really know exactly where, but eventually we find out that he's holed up in a little sleepy town.
Yeah, so that's another
called
thing.
Wind Knight's Lot.
These episodes so far, they feel kind of disjointed in their start because there's so many time jumps that I just feel sort of lost. So now we find ourselves in this little town with JoJo, and he's recuperating. But I mean,
I do want to say though, just because it seems like this is kind of a recurring kind of hang up that you're having with.
is it because
with
I'm
Phantom
not
Blood?
reading the manga? Is that why?
No, I don't think so. I just think that all of JoJo,
You gotta. Okay,
with all of
okay.
JoJo, Phantom Blood is the fastest pace. Like not fastest paced in terms of like, just in the sense that they're cramming a lot into
Gotcha.
what they are. Like all the other parts, without getting into it, it's while the pace might seem quick on some of them, like it's much more kind of feels a little more real timey.
Okay.
Phantom Blood is very like let's go. Like we're jumping time when we got to. We got to just make this happen quick.
Okay, maybe that might be the gripe, is that I'm not feeling as connected to these characters as I should yet. But it feels like so much time has passed for them, and they have all these strong bonds, and I'm not there yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would say that if I had never seen JoJo and don't know what's to come and everything, like just with the characters where we are now in episode 4 in Overdrive, yeah, I think I'm also looking back to when I first started JoJo and going through it, and yeah, 4 episodes into Phantom Blood, it's like, okay, cool things are happening, but yeah, I'm not there where I am with that. That's what I mean by it.
So, yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about big things that happen,
let's get into
in
it.
episode 4 of JoJo and Overdrive. I mean, it's hard to kind of rival these two things. You got, I think the two biggest things that happen, jumping into kind of the middle of the episode, is one, we're introduced to a new character.
Yes.
Well, yeah, he introduces himself as Baron Zeppeli. It's kind of a title he's adopted, but his name is William A. Zeppeli.
So the Baron thing, that's just his own thing that he puts on himself?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. He kind of adopted that title once he became kind of this master in this art that he does. And so that's kind of the second biggest thing is we are now, aside from Dio and his vampirism and everything, in terms of Team JoJo, we are introduced to the fighting style of...
So I was a little confused by that.
Part 1.
Is the fighting style Hamon?
Yeah.
Or, okay, so what is Sendo?
It's... Yeah, I kind of honestly forgot that they kind of also refer to it a little bit as Sendo. But people refer to it generally as Hamon.
Hamon.
Yeah. And I'm consulting my notes here. Like, I'll get this out of the way early for all you people who might be new to JoJo, is that there's a very passionate YouTuber kind of JoJo sphere, and there are people that get really into the JoJo science, if you will.
I wonder if I should tell my girlfriend about this, because I've had her watch a couple episodes of JoJo. She's not hugely in anime, but she's dipping her feet into it, and because we're doing this podcast, she wanted to check it out. So we caught it on Hulu, but she's big into YouTube. So are there a lot of spoilers? Can she like dip? I'm asking for our other fans not fans, but other listeners who might
I would just
steer clear until they caught up.
I would steer clear. I don't know like how great they are about like pointing out spoilers. I feel like they do sometimes, but like I'm not going to be the guy, unfortunately, to like really give everyone the nitty gritty of like all the different aspects.
Oh, but they'll break it down.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean,
okay,
there are
that's
people
cool.
out there who are JoJo scholars who really like,
see, I'm fucking into that because I'm a big comic nerd. So that's what a lot of my YouTube search history is. And like what I watch mostly is people breaking down characters and story arcs and shit like that.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's like, as I was going through JoJo, I kind of was dipping my toe into it a bit, but it's rocky waters if you want to like avoid.
Okay. When I'm all caught up, I might like go back and do that.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, like I can start like naming all the guys out there who have the best content, I think, in terms of JoJo. But yeah, so in terms of like, I'm trying to find my notes, so just like breaking down Hamon a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Hamon, Sendo, Ripple energy. Ripple is like a big kind of thing that they talk about, but essentially it's a breathing technique. It's like this ancient breathing technique that we don't, it's kind of mysterious right at this moment. Zeppeli kind of like dives into it a bit, but yeah, it's essentially a breathing technique. So this is actually one little thing I wrote down that Zeppeli kind of says while Jonathan's kind of training. He says, breathing affects your blood. Your blood carries oxygen you inhale. The oxygen in your blood affects your body's cells. Your cells are your body, like ripples in the water. Breathing properly creates hormone in your body, and that creates energy. So it's kind of this like synergistic breathing, blood, it flows through, and you can kind of create this, it kind of is represented as this like lightning kind of energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the primary technique, power kind of thing, whatever you want to call it, of Phantom Blood in terms of Jonathan's side. And, you know, he's got Zeppeli with him now, versus Dio and the vampirism and everything. And I'm trying to remember now exactly how much Zeppeli kind of gets into it. Is episode 4 the one where he's talking about, he kind of like tells Jonathan his past a little bit? Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, he gives a brief backstory.
Yeah, basically he says that his father, like he was on this like archaeological team like
a lot of
years
archaeologists
ago. Yeah, and that's what everyone was doing back then.
Yeah, and then I
1800s,
mentioned,
no one had discovered anything yet.
I guess Columbus didn't. All right, keep going.
I don't know, but yeah, so essentially his father and he was on a team that uncovered the stone masks from these Aztec ruins. And on the boat ride back, his father put on the mask, basically slaughtered everyone on board.
Yeah.
They had a very similar encounter as Dio and the drunkard in London, where in the water, the ship was like crashed. His father was about to kill him, but the sun came up. Like Zeppeli is a brand new character.
True.
And he's just kind of like telling Jonathan this.
It just seems, I mean, yeah. Okay. No. You're right, Zeppeli. And that's another thing. Is he like Led Zeppelin?
That's the reference, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we want to point out musical references, Zeppeli is.
You know what? I had a complaint, but I really don't have a complaint because this is kind of how shonen shows work. These characters, you have like one altruistic character, and then he slowly begins to amass this following of people. My whole thing was going to be, it seems so convenient that JoJo gets this master who's also tied to the mask, but that's how this shit works, man. So I'm not. Yeah, that was my gripe, but I don't have it.
Yeah, and again, I'll just point out, Phantom Blood just moves that fast. It's not. Everything else is just different. Like in the rest of JoJo, it's just the start. It's very like hit the ground running kind of thing. Well, I mean, just to kind of close off this. That part of it, I mean, he essentially tells JoJo this flashback because he wants to emphasize that Hamon is this thing to specifically combat this, like, the masks and, like, the vampirism and everything.
So do we ever get backstory as far as where Baron Zeppeli learned this? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm into that. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Well, so in terms of like, what was your impression? Because like the first kind of glimpse of Hamon being, you know, formally demonstrated is Zeppeli punching the rock.
Oh, through the frog. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What'd you think of that?
I was into that. At first, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Who is he? And then once I realized that he was JoJo's new master, I was like, all right, he's got some neat tricks up his sleeve, and he punched through the little froggy, which I thought was nice. I can't remember because I've watched, I'm sorry, one episode ahead of this, but is it this episode where he demonstrates walking across water?
No.
Phooey. My apologies. You can cut that out.
But yeah, there is a lot of training near this like river.
Yeah, and I think this is when, or around the time, Zeppeli, he has he's showing JoJo and Speedwagon. Like, why are they in the cave again?
The cave?
Yeah, they go into some cave. They're like,
Isn't that you're talking about the tunnel at the end?
yeah, that's it. The tunnel.
Yeah.
It was a tunnel, and then they caved it in. My apologies.
Yeah. Well, do you want to get to that now, or do you?
With the fight scenes in JoJo, like, how do you write about a fight scene? You know, it's cool. Like, it looks good.
Yeah,
I can't advance
it's just
that much on a fight scene.
The fights. I mean, we can talk a little bit about the big fight in episode 4, but the fights do get more. I think there's more to kind of talk about.
Okay.
As the fights go on. Dio didn't really do much though in Overdrive. I mean, like, we kind of
he fucking okay. Here's the thing. They finally bring up the whole Jack the Ripper thing.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's actually something I wanted to bring up though, is that to give your earlier criticism more credit, in the manga, that's when they introduce Jack the Ripper.
Okay, so they don't.
No, I don't know why David Productions did that, but
okay,
yeah, they essentially that
makes more. That
the issue,
I'm with.
That issue starts, and it's like you see Jonathan and Irina, which I want to talk about that kind of opening scene more, but you see that whole thing, and Jonathan wakes up, and then it goes, and it's like 1880 whatever. Jack the Ripper stalks the streets of London. And then Dio rolls up and there's like a whole little scene of like Jack the Ripper like pretending he's just this gentleman and then like killing the woman, and then right as he's like stabbing her in the streets, Dio rolls up in his little wheelchair and is like, "Hey, I'm recruiting you," essentially.
So I know like this show time hops is their version of JoJo, where like Jeffrey Dahmer and Bundy get recruited.
I'll just spoil it now. No, that does not happen.
Damn it. That'd be pretty cool.
Do
we ever see like other figures from like time or figures from history? Figures from time. What the fuck? Figures from history?
Well, let me think about that.
I mean, just because it's kind of weird that they included Jack the Ripper here, if they don't include other, like, is Bill Gates going to pop up later in an episode or something?
I think people are definitely referenced. I could be totally wrong, but I don't really recall any like huge figures from history like popping in. But
okay,
it's I mean, this is very much a thing where it's like this is like the start, and like he's like, this is one thing, and then as it goes on, he's like, I want this to evolve, I want this to evolve, I want this to evolve. So Phantom Blood is not. Yeah, I mean, it's an old record at this point, but
okay,
it very much evolves into into new things. But
okay,
but I do just want to talk about the kind of like opening with. I don't know if you had any hangups about this, like, but they do flesh it out a lot more in the manga. Like, so essentially in the anime, it starts out and Jonathan is got burn wraps all over him, and he hasn't woken up yet. And Speedwagon's on his way to like check in on JoJo. He's in this huge hospital, and Irina just is there, like taking care of him, out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, that bugged me.
Yeah, okay. Well, so in the manga, there's a whole extra scene, like a couple, maybe 2 pages or something.
Should we have a segment where it's like in the manga, and each week you break down like the shit that wasn't in the episode?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about doing that at first, but it's like
a brief rundown.
But it just feels kind of weird to like talk about
before
it once and then bring it back up in like a new light.
Good point. Okay.
So essentially, Speedwagon kind of does the thing where he like looks in through the keyhole or whatever and sees them, and he basically says that he learned later that Irina spent 7 years in India because of her father's work at as a doctor, and then it was just a coincidence that Jonathan was brought back to that hospital, but it's her father's hospital, or he works there. So I mean, that kind of explains how she's there taking care of him.
Okay.
I don't think they touched on it at all.
No, they didn't. It's just that
she-
her hands were chapped because she had been like soaking
she
his
wouldn't
bandages.
leave his side. So he basically shows up. That's why she was gone.
Okay.
And she just kind of disappeared from the picture while, after like the very beginning.
Right.
But yeah, her father works at the hospital. She helps out, and Jonathan just happened to get brought back in, and she's like, I want to tend to him.
Okay. All right.
So that's that basically.
My whole thing was that Dio was pretty high on his fucking horse for someone that just took a major L. He came up to Jack the Ripper talking all his shit like, yo, I'm gonna like give you all these riches. You're gonna be able to kill whoever you want.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. He gets Jack the Ripper killed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, well, Jack the Ripper's now his vampire servant. So, and then that's the major fight at the end.
that is pretty dope. That Trojan horse thing. I will give them that.
right.
They like Jack the Ripper erupted from a dead horse.
A dead horse. Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did he get himself in there? That was a neat trick, Jack.
Yeah, those are the things.
Kudos.
Yeah.
I'll give JoJo a point for that. That's a point for JoJo.
But so like, this is not a thing unique to JoJo. You see this in like almost every like shonen kind of show or manga.
Someone gets punched.
Well, yeah, but every move is named.
Yeah.
There's a name for everything.
Yeah. I'm picking up on that, and it's kind of cool.
So I believe that the first named move we get is the zoom punch.
Zoom punch. Yeah. A little lackluster move, but I like it.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's actually an extra scene in the manga where before they get to Win Knight's lot, the little Asian medicine man minion kind of pops up at JoJo's little camp and tries to kill Jonathan.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I think he was mainly there to like scout and just to like see where
he was working for Dio?
Yeah, he's still working for Dio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's like scouting, and he kind of tries to get the jump on Jonathan, and he like blasts his head with a zoom punch.
God. Why didn't they include that?
They just are trying to fit everything in.
God
I don't know.
damn. They're cutting a lot of the good shit. A lot of things that I enjoy, they're cutting out. But whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, essentially, there's a lot here though in this last fight. They're basically, it's the last tunnel to get to Win Knight's lot. They're ambushed by Jack the Ripper, who's now like a huge vampire muscle man. He erupts out of the horse, like you said. But there's a couple interesting.
He stabs himself through the face.
Yeah.
Why?
Just to show us.
It's a weird flex.
He's
weird flex, but okay, Jack.
He can do it. But yeah, so I mean, this is kind of the last big thing for this episode. Is essentially there's this whole for this whole fight thing. Well, for one, Zeppeli pours himself a glass of wine.
Yeah, I did dig that. Okay, so this is something that I really fucking like with like shonen and just old kung fu shit, is when your master gives you like almost an impossible task or something that seems so simple, but you can't achieve it, or it's like ridiculous to achieve this seemingly possible task. So Zeppeli tells JoJo to defeat Jack the Ripper using a Hammond, right? But not to spill a drop.
Yeah, and he basically says that if you cannot defeat Jack the Ripper without spilling, or yeah, if you can't beat him without spilling a drop of wine, then you just can't do this.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah.
Like
even if you do defeat him and you spill a drop, we're done here.
Yeah,
I'm
basically
done with
says,
you, boy.
yeah, I'm not gonna. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah,
I respected the fuck out of that. I love that shit.
Yeah, but I think before that happens, though, we get a glimpse of his Hammond cutter. And I don't think that this was.
No, I didn't. Okay, so we do get a glimpse. I didn't really see. It was like a flash, right?
Well, I mean, he shoots Hammond cutter at Jack the Ripper, I think, before he gives the wine to.
Right, because Jack the Ripper was coming at him with knives or something.
Yeah, and he cuts the knives with it. But this was something that I don't think was illustrated properly in the. Or maybe they just straight up changed it in the anime, but and correct me if I'm wrong if you read it a different way, but in the manga, it's much more clear that the Hamon cutter was the wine. Like he sips the wine and he like spits out the wine,
and it's
but the Hamon creates like
it makes it sharp.
yeah.
So
he like spits it through his teeth basically.
Dope.
So that's a interesting little thing.
Okay, cool.
But so okay, now I'm trying to remember like what Zeppeli said in the manga versus the anime, but essentially he tells this he tells Zeppeli this story. Tell me if you don't recognize this.
JoJo tells Zeppeli a story.
Sorry, Zeppeli tells Speedwagon. So he sends JoJo off.
Right.
And as JoJo's walking, Zeppeli tells Speedwagon this story of a fisherman that he met in the Caribbean who fell through his fishing boat. And there was this shark like circling the water.
Yeah, no, that's nothing. I didn't hear.
All right. So and then he said this fisherman cut off his own leg with a harpoon to attract the shark. And then once the shark got to him, he stabbed it in the head. And basically he's analogizing this with, he's like walking in there to whatever, attract Jack the Ripper. But did he say he said the thing in the anime about the Vikings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did say that.
Yeah, so the strong winds that made the Vikings... The strong wind that created the Vikings basically is going to have to come through in JoJo in a crisis or otherwise he won't be able to defeat Dio.
Right.
So giving him this task of not spilling the wine, to him that's like his own version of like the strong winds and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, just to close that out, JoJo realizes that the wine is a Hamon detector basically, and it prompts him into this like Sendo Hamon overdrive, and he like punches through the wall.
Yeah, sick.
And gets Jack the Ripper.
So is overdrive? Is that him? Like, is that when he has to go through something else, and he just has to like overpower his body?
I mean, it's definitely like I think
it's just concentrated.
Yeah, I think the overdrive. I mean, there's different versions of the overdrive that you'll see. It's not always through something because I mean he uses it in different forms, like head on with things.
Okay.
But yeah.
I will say that I had to watch a couple episodes of the dubbed recently.
Really?
Yes. Because like I said, I was getting the girlfriend into the show. We weren't there's no way we were watching it with subtitles, but we watched a couple episodes of the dubbed. They gave all these different characters have different accents, and I love it. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, but see, my problem is that there's a certain point in the show where that just completely drops off. Like I know one character has like an English accent, and then in the next,
yeah, Speedwagon right now he's Cockney in a couple episodes that I've watched.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
But essentially there's a certain point where like a season changes and a character who had an English accent just doesn't. It's like a different voice actor.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm not like married to it or anything, but I did find myself a little bit more compelled with these characters and their English voices because, well, with Baron Zeppeli, he's an English gentleman, but he also throws out Italian phrases in the dub. So that it's lost in the subtitle. That you're just not getting that.
Yeah.
And there's like little bits that like in the dub Speedwagon he sort of narrates at the beginning what's going on, and in the subtitled, I mean, you hear the different language, so you don't know that it's Speedwagon necessarily. You just hear someone talking and you're reading. So I don't know. It's just a little different. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I got that was Speedwagon.
Well, I didn't, Nathaniel.
I mean, whatever. If you want to do that, it's your prerogative.
It's not that I want to do that. It's that I'm probably going to do a 1-to-1 thing where I watch the subtitled for the notes and everything, and I watch the dub later on with the girlfriend. But yeah.
All right. As long as you're watching the sub, because there's just some stuff that you just like that's like essential JoJo memes that like just don't come through in
I'll keep it up.
especially
Jesus
in
Christ.
especially in part 3. All right, that's all I got to say about JoJo. I just want to say really quick for everyone out there, you have dubbed your crew the Dom Tourage.
Dom Tourage. Whoop.
I just want to say really quick to all the fans of me, I don't have a name for you guys yet. So I'm working on it behind the scenes, but
Seems pretty weak.
I'm working on it behind the scenes. I got a lot on my plate right now, but I assume one day we'll have a subreddit. You guys can duke it out on there, Discord, everything like that. It's coming one day.
Yeah.
But all right, getting into JoJo, The Dark Knights. That's the Crunchyroll title. It's messy with these translations. Who knows? But that's what we're gonna.
Did
call
they get a cease and desist from DC? Because it's wild that they got to title their shit Dark Knights. Batman's a Dark Knight.
Right. Well, I don't know, but that's what this is called, The Dark Knights. So basically, the JoJo crew, which right now consists of Jonathan, Speedwagon, and Zeppeli.
I like it. I dig it.
And they have made it through the tunnel of death there with what's his face, Jack the Ripper, and they are on their way to Wind Knight's Lots, which is where they believe Dio to be hiding out. And they kind of show up, and it's kind of this unassuming little quiet town. The manga kind of goes into more detail about kind of the history of Wind Knight's Lot. It's kind of this like prisoner town,
right?
But I do want to say really quick, in the manga, there's one scene that gives a little more context to, because like it kind of starts and like out of nowhere, Zeppeli is kind of like having just punched.
What?
He like has his fist in Speedwagon's gut. Like he had just punched him.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was like, like, sorry, Jonathan, I just had to, like, Speedwagon wanted me to give
him a lesson.
Him a little, like, try to give him a little hamon.
Yeah.
But there's like a little scene before that where they're kind of discussing that, where Speedwagon's like, I don't just want to be some guy hanging around. Like, I want a little bit of power too. Like, I want to help out.
And that was in the manga?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Huh.
That's in the dub.
A scene of them talking?
Yep. So there's like shit that...
Wait, it was an extra scene?
I swear to God, I shit you not.
Are you sure it wasn't later on?
Maybe.
Like, I'm talking about the very beginning.
Look, man, it's in there. It's in the episode. That's all I'm talking about.
Well, because in the anime with the normal subtitle, later on in the episode, he reinforced, like he says that again, that I don't want to just be some guy standing around. But I'm saying that's in the very beginning.
Well, then you're confusing the shit out of me, man. It's in the episode.
All right.
My
It
apologies.
is in the episode later, but I'm just saying at the very, very, very beginning, there's just a little scene that leads up to Zeppeli like punching him and trying to. And he's like, "Oh, sorry."
I'm debating if I
punched
want
too
you to
hard."
tell me whether or not Speedwagon ever gets any Haman.
Well, I mean, you saw him kind of use it.
Barely.
Later in the
I want to,
episode.
but like, I'm wondering, like, is he gonna be like a beast, or is he? Don't tell me.
Speedwagon?
Don't tell me. I love Speedwagon. I love him. I like that he's like, he's just fucking JoJo's main dude, and he wants to scrap. And the fact, okay, can I jump a little bit ahead?
In the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Him giving his heat.
Yeah.
To Zeppeli.
Yeah, well, that's the Hamon.
I thought he was just like giving his heat, like he was.
I'm pretty sure that was like little remnants of the Hamon that like. That's
oh,
why
from
that
the
scene was there.
punch.
Yeah.
All right, now it's all coming together, brother.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
I'm
why
picking
the
up what
scene
you're
was
putting
there.
down.
And I'm just saying, like, because it is a little bit confusing in the anime because they only just barely say it in the beginning.
I thought he was just giving off body heat. I didn't know he was giving him Haman.
Yeah, it's like a little remnant of Hamon from the punch at the beginning.
Okay.
Does
Zeppeli stay in this outfit for the most part, or does he get a costume change?
That's pretty much his outfit.
Same with JoJo. Like, this is his like get up, the vest and the little hat and the bow tie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with it. This point forward, we're almost in real time now. Like,
okay, gotcha.
From moving forward.
Well, I mean, like, but do they have like costume changes, or is this like his get up? Like, will Speedwagon always be in that suit?
I'm trying. It's been a while since I've got, because I'm only just.
Been a while.
Yeah. I'm only just. I'm reading the manga as we're going to, and I'm not watching too far ahead. So, it's been a while since I watched Phantom Blood, but I'm almost positive that this is like, I don't know that there's any costume changes.
Because I remember you told me like wild fashion is like a thing, so I didn't know if like every few episodes, because we had been watching and every couple episodes they would have these different costumes or outfits.
Actually, right? Okay, so we're watching it muted on the screen right now. I actually do think that JoJo gets a new getup, but I can't remember exactly how he gets it, but I think he wears something different at some point. Because right now he kind of still looks like a gentleman. He's got like one of those. What is that hat called?
I have no.
It's like a hat with like the flaps on the side. It's like an Englishman's kind of hat,
I guess.
But he also has like this like Argyle sweater.
Yeah,
it's probably like a triple XL.
Yeah, because he is again 6'4", and
yeah.
I mean he's built like The Rock for listeners at home and people who are blind, I guess.
But yeah, like going chronologically, this small boy named Poco, which I don't know that they say in the.
They say.
They do. Okay, yeah. So this little boy named Poco like jumps off and steals.
Tiny little thief.
Yeah,
he slingshots himself, right? Or
slingshots himself?
Because he does something with a rope, like he takes off across the lake, and that's why they have to use the Hammond to get across. He slingshots himself across the river or something.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so at this point, Zeppeli demonstrates that he can use Hamon and sends out all these ripples as he delicately kind of trots along. And then you kind of get juxtaposed with Jonathan, where he can get across too, but it's much more brute.
Yeah, he's stomping across.
Yeah, he's kind of like stomping across, but he gets across.
Hey, does Poco become part of the crew?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember.
How do you not remember?
I think he kind of sticks around.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's hard to remember, but basically they figure out that that Poco was kind of under hypnosis.
Right.
So it wasn't really him kind of doing it. It was Dio's mind trickery. But then they realize all of a sudden that they just stumbled into a graveyard.
Yeah, zombies are popping up everywhere, man.
Yeah, and actually, I think right in this scene here, you just paused it. Dio kind of appears like
on top of like some rock stacks.
Yeah, he's like posing.
Yeah.
On top of these rocks in that Dio pose, and Zeppeli kind of confronts him, and he's like, "You don't know who I am, but
I'm here to destroy you."
Destroy you.
Yeah.
And I think is this when we get his "Hey Baby"?
I didn't hear any "Hey Baby."
Really?
Yeah.
He's. I'm pretty sure he calls out to someone, and this would only really
Zeppeli or Dio?
Zeppeli.
Huh. This might okay. Keep going.
I'll try. I'll drop in the sound clip.
Hey baby.
But yeah, in English he says "Hey baby."
Maybe that's what I mean when I say like he throws out these little Italian phrases, because in the
but you watched subtitled, right?
I did, but I didn't catch it. But in the dub, I hear him say like Bambino and Amico. He calls JoJo Amico all the time. Does he do that in the manga or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because it was something I caught instantly because I didn't pick up on it before. He calls him Amico. He says Bambino. So maybe that's what you had heard. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah. Well, either way, in the subtitled version, in Japanese English, he calls out "Hey baby," to come down, basically saying like come down from your high ground, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think at that point, I think Dio shows that he's fully healed except for the one wound from the goddess statue.
Yeah, through his gut.
But yeah, this is another.
So is it just because the goddess statue did it?
I think so. I mean, it's just like a symbolic kind of thing.
Okay.
But like for as strong as he is, that this symbol of the Joestar name is the one thing to leave this. Man,
they got some epic mullets.
Oh yeah. But right, so so this is the first time we see another one of Dio's powers, which is that he can freeze things.
Okay. So just by touch, is it him? He said that he was sucking all of the heat out of Zeppeli's arm. Is that what he was doing? Like, can you explain his power?
I don't know that I can explain it. I mean, he's got a lot of in Phantom Blood. He's got a lot of wild vampire powers that just are, I think, are mostly unexplained.
Mm-hmm. It's
but,
just that he's a vampire and that's it. You gotta deal with it.
Yeah, I think so. But I think as far as he says in this episode, I don't know that he says he's like sucking the heat, but he basically says like, you know, I don't know what powers you're using, referencing Hamon, but basically saying like if it seems like it works off your blood. So if your blood is frozen, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. I thought it, at one point he said he was like taking the heat from his blood or the air, but whatever.
Maybe. But yeah, Jonathan steps in and kind of like stops the damage.
Yeah.
Nullifies the damage. They kind of fall down.
Zeppeli's got frostbite.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? Frostbite.
Yeah, I think so. And then this is where we talked about earlier.
Come down, baby. Or what?
No.
Or was that earlier?
No, I'm just now I'm just like watching the screen.
Well, I'll pause it so you stop doing that.
What's his name? Speedwagon uses the Hamon.
Does he? How so? By healing?
To heal. Yeah, because you just said he got frostbite.
Yeah.
So he uses it to heal him.
They could have telegraphed that a little better. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
But I'm also a dumb American, so maybe that's it.
No, I mean it's weird because I watched the episode first and then I read the counterpart in the manga.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched it, I was like, wait, is he just heating him up? Or it looks like he's using Hamon, but where did he get the Hamon from? And yeah, it's just illustrated better in the manga.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is where kind of the main kind of fight comes in. Dio basically summons these two undead knights,
Tarkus and Blueford.
Yeah, and
so, okay, keep going.
Well, I just want to say one thing really quick is so this is kind of like the first instance in JoJo where we're getting it's not a huge difference, but since musical references are such a huge thing in JoJo, in the English localizations, there's tons of names that just get changed to sometimes really insane things that make no sense. But in this is Blueford is the localization. His name really is Bruford. Bruford.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the reference is. I didn't look it up, but that's the first name change. Not a huge change, but get used to it.
Okay.
Because at a certain point, almost everyone's names.
Hey, if Dio is so
change.
fucking big and bad, why is he always getting all these assholes to like step in and try to fight JoJo?
I think that's I don't know. I think that's like a flex, like a weird kind of flex.
Okay. Kind of. I mean, it takes some of the steam out of him as a villain if he's not like squaring up. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah,
I know you can't say much.
Dio getting people to fight on his behalf is like
a thing.
Okay,
a
thing
all
to
right.
an even more comical degree.
Okay,
at a certain point. But
okay.
I mean, I think in a way, it's like, why can't you come down and fight?
Yeah.
But in another way, it's like he's also trying to amass this army, and the king. Like, how often does the king come down and fight?
That's true, but we know JoJo is the fucking best. So all I want to do is see them square up.
I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I mean, you got to just think of Dio as like he sees himself as this god figure. He
doesn't want to dirty his feet with his fists with the likes of JoJo.
Yeah, I mean,
it.
He wants to he is like evil incarnate. He wants to amass this army of evil that is, gonna do its thing. So
Jack the Ripper is dead from the last episode, right?
yeah.
But he's not dead in real life, though, right?
What do you mean in real life?
Like in that, like it's inaccurate. I can't that word where it's like not historically correct.
I mean, we don't know really anything about the real Jack the Ripper.
People know some stuff. There's some people out there that have some answers. I'm just saying,
I guess.
Did the creator kill him at a time where like Jack the Ripper disappeared? Like, does it line up with history? Is what I'm asking. Like, for just for backstory, just for like world building, does it line up?
Well, that's interesting. I would have to kind of look into that. I mean, it's a little weird with Jack the Ripper just because, I mean, from a broader historical sense, I don't think, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people have theories, but I guess the only thing you could point to, since we don't have a person to like put a date death on, we just kind of have to see when the killing stopped. So we'd have to like look that up. But it's interesting that you bring that up because as JoJo goes on, there's quite a few things that are only happen in the JoJo world that Araki
Don't say he predicted.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying, like, there are things that happen in JoJo that he uses to explain real world events.
Okay.
Like, especially in like parts that haven't been adapted to the anime yet. Like, there's tons of things in there that are like, hey, this weird phenomenon? It's actually explained through the JoJo.
I dig that
universe.
I dig that.
Yeah. So there is quite a bit of that. But yeah, the Jack the Ripper thing, I guess you'd have to look that up and see when the killing stopped.
Okay.
But
if one of our London listeners could let us know, they might know. I imagine it's like it's taught in schools.
Thing,
yeah.
Everyone in London knows
when Jack the
Ripper stopped his killings.
Oh, it was 1889, governor. Don't you know?
They take tours around Whitechapel.
Yeah.
London. All right. Well, London's where it all started, so we can't really.
But that's the other thing, man. With the dub, you get all these London accents. I dig that. I'm gonna bring that up again. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but at a certain point it stops. They like.
And they just sound American.
Yeah.
But are they in America at that point, or are they still English? Like, are they still like British people?
You don't lose your accent.
No, but what I mean. Okay, so it's in this season that happens where.
No.
Oh. No. But I thought you said like eventually they're different characters.
I mean, how much do you want me to say?
I don't want you to say anything.
There is one. I've only seen like YouTube clips of the dub, but I'm just saying that I've seen clips of the dub at one point.
Damn, how far can he do the zoom punch? Do they ever say, because he dislocates his shoulder pretty fucking far. They show him doing the zoom punch towards, I think it's Tarkus with the hair, right? Yeah. Tarkus is coming for him.
Bruford has the hair.
Bluford.
All right.
Bluford.
Bluford.
Don't start saying Bruford because people are going to assume, people who don't know about the thing are going to think that you're doing some like.
No, but I'm here to educate everyone.
I'm letting you know you'll never be able to like be on Saturday Night Live if you keep this shit up. So just call him Bluford and we'll move on.
Oh, what this is like? Yes, and
just keep going.
No, there's certain names that I'm going to refuse to refer to characters as at a certain
Bluford.
Point.
So Bluford is the dude with the hair.
I'll give it a pass here. Bluford is the guy with the hair. Tarkus is the huge guy.
Okay.
Bigger than Jonathan.
Yeah.
Who has an even bigger sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's with the hair. What were we talking about before? I don't know.
It's just his zoom punch. How far can he go?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I just want some specifics.
I mean, he's got long arms.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have a specific length.
All right.
But yeah, we're getting this fight.
What's his arm perched on? Dio. I know we're doing a lot of visuals.
It's a pose.
A lot of Dio poses in this one.
Dude, the poses. Everyone's got a pose at a certain point.
Ooh, what's JoJo's?
I mean, I'm trying to think of like Jonathan's like signature pose. Every JoJo kind of has like a signature pose.
Does Speedwagon have a pose?
I don't know if he has a signature pose. But Jonathan, Yeah, I don't really know. I think you see him sometimes with like the hand. Like I don't know that he actually.
John Cena.
Yeah, I don't know that he actually does it in the anime. Like people might know another character kind of does it too, but a lot of times when you see Jonathan illustrated, he kind of has this pose where it's like this kind of like glamour kind of like pose. He's got his arm like his fingers like crossed out in front of his face. He's kind of like looking through his fingers.
Think of John Cena.
Does he do that?
He does this.
Oh, it's not. I mean, his hand's not moving.
I understand that, but
Like,
I mean, think of a picture of John Cena doing that thing with his hands.
I mean, for people who aren't familiar with JoJo, like Araki is like a huge fashion like connoisseur.
I could tell.
So a lot of the poses and like stuff he gets exactly from like of the fashion like model world.
Okay.
But yeah, Tarkus and Bruford,
They get played.
Yeah, basically they were around.
We get a little backstory.
They were around in the 1500s. They were loyal to one of the queens,
Elizabeth or Mary, one of them.
Yeah, I think Mary.
Well, either they were loyal to Mary and Elizabeth double crossed them, or they were loyal to Elizabeth and Mary double crossed them.
Yeah, they get bamboozled, hoodwinked into like
Shanghai.
They sacrifice themselves to save the queen, but they're like, oh,
little do they know,
psych, the queen's already dead.
Yeah, and why wouldn't they just look over to the side? Because they just
thought it was just a dead body.
I know, but then they just glance over and her head is right there. That's so fucking stupid.
This
I loved it.
Like,
I know, it's just so ridiculous. I'm glancing at the heads in the room before I put my head on the fucking platter. Is all I'm saying.
But essentially, they
see if I know anyone.
Essentially, they curse everyone there. And that's kind of how their hatred was able to linger,
fuel their afterlife.
And Dio was so like smitten by their hatred that he's like, I just had to resurrect these guys because they're, they do good work. I'm a fan of their work.
And do we know if Tarkus and Bluford are real historical figures?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, that's what I mean, I didn't look this up because like doing research on this half of the show isn't my job.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't do research.
I
didn't do the historical research on this part.
Any historical questions you have about One Tree Hill, I have the answers for you. So you let me know.
Right. Yeah. And for any video gamers out there, for anyone who's played Dark Souls 1, there's actually an NPC character, a pretty infamous NPC character who can like just destroy this one boss if you like summon it. Black Iron Tarkus was a reference to this knight Tarkus.
Nice.
From JoJo. But yeah, we kind of like it ends on a cliffhanger, like right towards the end, kind of, or like basically Tarkus kind of moves off to the side and he kind of corners Zeppeli and Speedwagon. So Bruford and Jonathan can kind of duke it out together, and you see Bruford use his dance macabre hair.
Yes,
is what he calls it, and his hair can kind of like move on its own, and it basically Jonathan tries to use
zoom punch.
I thought he tried to use overdrive.
No, I thought he zoom punched towards him, and then the dude caught.
Oh, was it a zoom? Oh, okay, yeah, he used the zoom punch, but his hair stops him. But he uses, I wrote it down, Scarlet Overdrive.
For any comic nerds out there, Bluford has pretty much the same powers as Medusa from the Inhumans. Just a little tidbit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jonathan punches his own hand wrapped in the hair with Scarlet Overdrive, and that blasts the hair away.
So what exactly is Scarlet Overdrive?
It's just a version of Overdrive.
But what does Scarlet mean?
I don't have that answer for you.
Because it affects his blood, because Bluford was trying to, like, wasn't he sucking his blood through his hair or something? And then JoJo does a Scarlet Overdrive. So I thought it was like something about blood. I don't know. I expect you to have these answers for me next time, Nathaniel.
I have answers when I have them.
Like he does
Scarlet Overdrive.
Like he hits his arm. Like
yeah.
I don't know. It just rips his hair to shreds. There has to be something with the blood. Maybe I'm like reading too far into it. Well, we're too quiet now, Nathaniel.
Well, I can cut out these empty parts, but
All right.
basically, oh yeah. So, all right, this is the last thing. We'll wrap it up here. They both fly kind of into the lake, and they're both sinking, and everyone's freaking out on land, basically saying that Jonathan's underwater. He can't breathe. If he can't breathe,
he can't use Hammond.
He can't use Hammond. So
what's he gonna do?
So, and he remembers his daddy, Big Daddy Joestar,
Big Papa Joestar,
telling him, reminding him of this story from his childhood with Danny.
Yes,
he remembers
Danny.
Where basically
Shout out to Danny.
Danny had his Jonathan's toy gun, and Jonathan was trying to rip it out of his mouth. And his father said that the more you pull,
the more he's gonna want it.
The more he's gonna want it. So you just have to give it to him if you want it. So everyone's like, Jonathan's gonna, and Bruford's like, you're gonna have to go up to the surface, and he's preparing for it.
Yeah, and as soon as you do go up to the surface, I'm gonna wreck your shit, JoJo.
Yeah.
So I dare you.
So JoJo goes down.
He swims down.
He goes
which
down
seems
deeper.
stupid. It's so stupid for him to swim down. That's not where oxygen is. What's he doing?
Well, we think he's crazy until he lifts up a rock that's got air trapped underneath.
Yeah, brilliant,
And
this JoJo.
He gets one gulp of air.
And that's all he needs.
One gulp of air, and that's all it takes. And then we get turquoise blue overdrive.
Yeah.
And the episode cuts. We get a to be continued right as he deploys turquoise blue overdrive.
I will say that I did see for the first time one of those to be continued bumpers on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
In a GIF. Or well, it wasn't. It was at the end of a video because I started following out of context porn or some shit, and it was like something where some porn star, she's in a bathtub and she's wearing a lifeguard suit, and she's talking to this guy, and she's like, "You don't have a lifeguard in here," and the guy's like, "This isn't a beach, this is a bathtub," and it just does the JoJo bumper.
I've seen that clip, but I haven't seen it with the JoJo bumper.
Yeah. I just saw it like this morning, and I was like, "Oh, nice." Yeah. Of course, I wouldn't have understood that was a JoJo bumper, but then I was like, I get it now.
Yeah, JoJo references. It's like it's a meme in of itself of people referencing JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that a JoJo reference? Is a common thing you'll hear people say, and it's kind of like it's a whole meme. My name's Nathaniel Garofalo, and I'm joined, as always, every single week, every fight, every battle, with my dear friend
Dom Esclovon. Here I am, Dom Taraj. Calm down. Everybody's cheering. Oh my God, calm down, relax, Dom Taraj.
Yeah,
people.
I still don't have.
I'm speaking to the masses here.
Right.
Because, I mean, most of our listeners are a part of the Dom Taraj since there is no Nathaniel fandom. Nathandom? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait until the timing's right. We'll get a name that pleases everyone.
Well, either way, we're here. It's episode 6. We're here to discuss some things. What are we here to discuss, Nathaniel? What do you got on the docket? What's on your side of things?
Well, it's episode. I mean, it's kind of a coincidence, but it's episode 6.
Oh.
Of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Tomorrow's Courage.
You don't see that every day.
No. Yeah, and I feel like maybe for the first time, we're starting to get into some like good shit now.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I was thinking, like, instead of us going beat by beat, what if we just do like a brief synopsis, read off like a brief synopsis, and then we get into like our stuff. I don't know. What do you think?
Sure. I mean, I'm up to try anything.
Okay.
Do you have a synopsis?
No.
Readily available?
No.
Okay, neither do I.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can get one. I can just like flicker over on
But is that really going to be... I mean, I feel like we could just synopsize ourselves.
We could synopsize ourselves, but I want you to read the synopsis and then you tell... I mean, don't like read it while we're recording. I guess we can like edit any dead air out, but just...
All right, well, so the synopsis here that I have in front of me is: just as Jonathan's heroism transforms one foe's hatred into humanity, an even greater behemoth drives the crew to a nightly training camp, complete with a medieval chamber of death.
Do you think that's like a pretty good synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe we shouldn't shit on the synopsis. That,
Well,
you
we're
know,
not, but we're just assuming that people already watched it.
we should assume that people are. I mean, would you listen to us two chuckleheads talk about these shows without having already watched it? Would you count on us to like give you a beat by beat breakdown of what really goes on without having watched it yourself? I would. I feel like if I were in someone else's shoes, I would want to watch the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
is this for like if people forgot?
No.
They watched it and they forgot?
No, man. I'm just saying, like, instead of us doing beat by beat what's going on, we do a brief synopsis and then we get into our discussion.
All right.
You know what I mean? Instead of like,
All
and
right.
this happens, and this happens.
All right, yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
So I think just broad strokes, I think this is probably the best episode of Phantom Blood.
Okay.
thus
Really?
far. I think so.
Okay.
I mean, you got the like the early episodes. I mean, they're just like iconic because you got young Dio and young
JoJo.
Yeah. So aside from all that, like, I don't know. I feel like things were really happening here, impactful things. For only being 6 episodes in.
I will say that this episode, I felt, I won't say like really proud of JoJo, but I saw what the vision of like JoJo really is supposed to be. I saw that for the first time with this episode when he used his Haman to like reach Bluford and like all the stuff started to sprout around him and everything. Like I felt like that him and Bluford like coming to terms and like we can get into their whole battle, but it felt very Superman-esque. And as you know, I'm a big comic geek or whatever, but that was like a point where I was like, oh man, that's very like Kal-El, you know, that's very Superman. And JoJo is, from what you've told me, he is that like Dudley Do-Right type of guy,
Yeah,
sort
I
of
mean,
like Superman.
Jonathan, yeah.
What'd I say?
No, you just said JoJo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm just clarifying that
Forgive me.
Jonathan is very much, yeah, like a Superman type Boy Scout
Yeah.
kind of character. And yeah, that definitely comes across here. But yeah, I mean, that's the first big, I mean, it happens really early on, but that's kind of the first big scene is basically Jonathan realizes that Bruford is this.
You keep saying Bruford.
That is his name.
Bluford.
There are so many translation name things that you're just going to have to get around. I'm not going to call it.
Okay, but what about the listeners? They hear Bluford.
They'll want to know so they don't look dumb and when they somehow one day.
So what you're saying is if I say Bluford, I'll look like a weeb. Is that what you're saying?
A weeb? No, I mean,
like, will I look like? I mean, what's?
I think that even among, because like that's a whole. If people who are listening who are like, this is your first anime or whatever, like I don't know how many of those people there are, but I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of classically, you have this whole manga versus anime type of thing, but I feel like with JoJo, like it's such a part of JoJo to like know about. Like if you get into JoJo at all, just the anime, like I feel like it's part of the conversation that you like realize that there's all these localization like issues, and I feel like for the most part people somehow figure out. But that's the thing too with the because this is not something I don't think you get with the dub at all, and what you get with the sub is like you can hear the Japanese voice actors saying the real name. So a lot of times, like especially later on, people like the Japanese voice actor will very clearly say one thing, but the thing is different. You're like, okay, I guess it's just this. So it's kind of obvious, like most of the time.
Okay,
but
Bruford it is.
Bruford. And then yeah, I mean, if you change the names, also like the references are lost.
Okay,
all right, but I mean, Jonathan recognizes that Bruford is. His pride is still
intact.
There. He's a very proud knight, and he basically lays down arms. And you get this you get this scene where I actually have
who's that broad?
I got like a million tabs open.
What? Jesus Christ, Nathaniel, that's too many tabs. That's an unhealthy amount of tabs.
But yeah, I mean, so you get this scene you said with like all the flowers and everything.
Yeah. Oh, but before that, I mean, there was a line. I don't know if it's in your notes at all, if you had any lines in your notes, but it's something that Jonathan shouts just before he hits Bruford with his new move or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you have that in your notes? I didn't want to step on it if you did.
I think I do. Hold on. With it, so is the line you're talking about that his heart produces heat enough to burn?
Well, no. Well, it's how my heart resonates. I'm pulsing with heat and life. My very blood is a symphony within me. And that's when he does the sunlight yellow overdrive.
Yeah.
And he just fucking pummels him. Just bah, 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 bah. It was lit. It was lit. Yeah. I just love that line. It was, I don't know, it awoken something in me. You know what I mean? It was very...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beautiful thing that you get with, especially in anime.
Yeah, I'm excited to show my girlfriend this episode.
In Japanese kind of stuff, you get a lot of power-ups and...
Oh, yeah.
This is like the first... Like, have we seen many like power-ups yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
This is the first one because after this, he's dripping in Hamen. It's like coming off him. Oof, that boy wet with that Hamen.
Yeah, so this is like the first like huge, I think, kind of huge power-up. But yeah, you just get those lines.
Yeah.
That just in the music.
Yeah, man.
It hits you in a...
We all know how anime works.
In a special place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he blasts Bruford, and that was after the metal silver overdrive, right?
Yeah, the metal silver overdrive, it cuts off his arm or something like he...
It was, yeah, so basically he kicks the sword and the metal silver overdrive, I guess, conducts metal, and it like channeled through the sword and just like obliterated the arm that was holding the sword, I guess.
Okay.
I think in the manga you had someone narrating what was happening there. I don't know if that was in the anime. I can't remember.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
So Bruford dying an honorable death. It's redeemed him in my eyes. I was talking shit about him previously. I respect it.
Oh yeah,
I respect the shit out of it.
And he respects Jonathan too, because he even asked. He's like, to a man 300 years like different in the future, like, what is your name?
Yeah, I need to know of the man who bested me in battle.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was great. And he passes along his luck sword.
So why did he write pluck like the P? What's that about?
Right.
Get into that for me.
All right. So I'm really surprised that, because Araki usually like explains everything like in detail, and he kind of just let this one hang. But I had to look it up, and I found this Reddit post. And I kind of disagree a little bit with the theorizing here, but generally this random Reddit user kind of gets this right. It says the symbolism behind luck and pluck. And he said basically there was an author in the late 1800s called Horatio Alger Jr., who wrote a series of books called Luck and Pluck. And all of these stories had a general theme of rags to riches narrative. Generally, the protagonist would go from a humble beginning to a middle class or higher lifestyle through hard work, determination, courage, and honesty. While other characters rely on quick wits and luck and are often seen as a cheat in some way. Luck and pluck represent the different... and then he kind of goes in theorizing like who is... like which characters represent the luck and pluck. But I think basically... Araki is referencing, I think, this author's use of luck and pluck. So
okay.
Pluck is like, luck is what luck is, obviously.
Yeah,
but
pluck is tenacity.
Tenacity.
They got it.
And wit.
Yeah.
And
I would say with Speedwagon and Jonathan, I would say they represent both pluck and luck a little bit. Speedwagon, he's got that wit about him. You know, he's got the street smarts. He's keeping Jonathan out of shit. But JoJo, he's got that luck to the point where, like, he shouldn't be able to do the things that he does, but there's something on his side. Maybe it's a little luck. I don't know. IDK.
And, Bruford wishes this upon him and writes the P in his own blood.
Word.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when the big dude Tarakis.
Tarkus.
This is when he starts wrecking shit, and he pops up because his boy went down. And he's like, "Fuck him. He's a weak ass bitch. I'm the real one anyway." So then he comes through and he starts wrecking shop. And I did appreciate this line. And it's this is, I would say there are always a couple good lines in each episode, but this one's like legit clever, and I really appreciated it. He says, someone calls he says, "You're not very clever, Tarkus." Like someone calls him stupid, right? And Tarkus is like, "What use have I got with clever? I carry a sword as tall as a man." And that shit, it spoke to me. Like, he's a big brute. He's not here to like play mind games. He's here to fuck you up and kill you, and that's it. And that's who Tarkus was, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, he's got a big sword and he swings it hard.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he's about.
And that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick, I'll just get there was really not a lot of manga differences
Okay.
this week. The one thing though, there was just like a little like half page more about how the hair works. Bruford's hair. But not really important. But then the most significant thing, and it happens right after Bruford was bested. Basically at some point Poco ran away.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that in the anime?
Well,
He
hold
ran
on.
away?
It's because I have Poco in my notes. So.
Well, but
Oh no,
they had
he
the
did.
flat.
Yeah,
They had a flat, but that's
something different.
yeah. But yeah, so basically at some point between like last episode and now in the manga, Poco ran away, and there's this scene of these bullies that you see in a later flashback, like picking on him, like as he's trying to run back into town. And basically Poco's like, "Guys, don't mess with me. Like, there's a huge fucking monster after me. Like, we got to get out of here." And the bullies are like, "We don't fucking believe you, you stupid little kid." And then Tarkus just shows up, and the bullies kind of run away. And then like Jonathan and Speedwagon and Zeppeli like show up too, and they're like, "There's Poco. Like, he ran off." And like, "Poco, we got to get out of here." And you get like the art style is so like this original Phantom Blood art style is so kind of goofy that a lot of these like intense moments like don't hit as hard as usual, but it's still pretty brutal. It's like this like half page or like full page panel almost of like Tarkus grabbing the bullies and literally squeezing them in his hand and like drinking their blood.
Nice.
So it's pretty hardcore, but that's kind of the only
Dope.
weird thing. But yeah, they Tarkus like I think swings his sword and like breaks him off, and basically there's all these leaves on this
Right.
thing, and they make just a hang glider.
Yeah, a little kite. So my question, because I definitely was wondering, like, how is it? Because I mean, Zeppeli, he's studied Hammond for decades. How is it that JoJo or Jonathan, since you've corrected me so many times now,
You can call him JoJo. I just call him Jonathan.
whatever. How is it that he knows these moves just as Zeppeli knows these moves? What's up with that?
I think that
Like, how much time has passed?
If there's some explanation for that I missed, then I apologize. But my explanation would be that there was, I think, some montage period of time while they were training. So maybe he taught him all this stuff. The only other explanation is that there's some sort of Hamon life energy where they can...
And they intuit.
There's just like an instinctual kind of thing.
Okay.
I think either of those satisfy me enough.
Man, kind of sounds like bullshit. Like, the Force from like Star Wars.
Hey,
I don't know.
That got explained, midichlorians.
Yeah, and then have you heard about that? It's back in the mix, the midichlorians. I don't want to talk about it. Have you watched Mandalorian yet?
No, I don't care about Star Wars. I do know about midichlorians, though.
What do you know about midichlorians?
I know that if you're got them, you got the Force.
Oh, you got him. You got
Force. Jedi powers.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Hammond is basically the Force. That's what I'm getting at here. Dual Hammond from Zeppeli and JoJo. That was nice. Them doing that hang glider, and then Paco flashing his little cheeks.
Yeah, Moon Tarkus.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of guts to moon a 80-foot tall.
Yeah, Poco. He's a real one. I appreciate him. That's why I asked like earlier if he's gonna be in the mix more, because I feel like they need a little bit more Poco. You know what I mean? Poco's good times.
Yeah, I mean, he's there for the rest of this episode,
Hmm.
and the flashback was this episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did get a flashback.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Basically, I mean, to cover what happens, they show up and Jonathan gets into this old. It's like this. So the setting here is pretty. I mean, to talk about the categories, kind of.
Okay,
I think
get into it.
I think we both have setting, right?
Yeah, setting. Yeah.
So we'll get
location.
into the ratings and all later, but
Yeah.
this is one of the cooler settings. I think it's kind
Okay.
of like along a cliff.
Yeah.
It's like on the edge
a castle built into it, right?
Yeah, it's like a castle built into the cliff, but I guess it was like this old training ground for
Mhm.
them like 300 years ago or whatever. So Tarkus like knows this area.
Location.
Yeah. But basically, was Tarkus like already in there?
So
I
that's
don't
the crazy
remember.
thing. Here's what happens. Tarkus, he's like climbing after him. He's going after him and they're running away from him. And they're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. He's down there. Let's go this
Oh,
way.
wait.
And then he pops up somewhere else.
But wait, wasn't there, I'm actually remembering now, wasn't there like a scene, like a little shot of like a big entrance like lower down that
Could have
Tarkus
been.
kind of looked around and
Could have
saw?
been.
And there was
been.
like gas coming out of it or something?
It's
Or
possible,
like
Nathaniel.
smoke? I think there was a...
These are all possible things
A
that could have
shot of
happened.
that.
I don't know.
All right, that explains it.
Okay. You're doing a lot of...
Yeah, I
you're-
think Tarkus like moved.
Man.
He crawled. That was, I'm pretty sure
You're
that
doing
was
a lot
shot.
of like mental gymnastics to like rework this show to
No,
work.
No.
I don't know
It
if
works,
JoJo
he saw-
holds up as well as you think it does.
Well, Phantom Blood. Yeah, I mean, it's Phantom Blood, guys.
It's Phantom
Come
Blood,
on.
guys.
If you've seen JoJo, you know it's Phantom Blood.
Guys, it's Phantom Blood.
It's just Phantom Blood. All right. But yeah, all right. Tarkus crawls in through a crack somewhere, and
That 80-foot tall man squeezes in somewhere into this castle.
yeah, he sucked it in. He got in there. It was a back way. I mean, I think.
Okay, but wait, we glossed over the backstory because we are introduced to another character. Or were you going to do the location and then character?
Oh, you talking about Tom Petty?
Ton Petty. With
Tom
an
Petty. That's what I said.
Ton.
Yeah, Tom Petty. That's what I said.
No.
Yeah, Tom Petty.
No.
Ton Petty. I'm
Yes.
saying Ton Petty.
Okay, all right. Ton with an N, not Tom.
Yeah, Thomas Petty.
Why? Why did they do Ton? What the fuck?
Tom Petty. Well, I mean, that's the reference.
But why couldn't they do Tom? Like, if
Because
you
they
can do
want-
Speedwagon, I don't know. Okay, explain it to me.
All right. Here's my explanation. I'm sure Araki's talked about this somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't. But my explanation is that, I mean, Speedwagon, while it's kind of a crazy name on its own, Speedwagon's like a British
Sure.
man.
Yeah.
Speedwagon's more, I guess, common of a name that you might find of just like a British contemporary
Craig
guy.
Speedwagon.
But
Definitely.
I do have an issue though with because they keep the name generally the same. It is Ton Petty in the manga and in the anime, but at least on Crunchyroll,
Mm-hmm.
they have it spelled out as Ton, but then they keep Petty as in Petty,
Yeah.
which makes it really weird, I think, because this is like the character is this old Tibetan Hamon master.
Right.
And in the manga, I think the spelling helps it fit that role a little bit better. So in the manga, it's Tonpeti.
Okay.
So that it's still, I think you still
Yeah.
you still get the reference, but it's more like, okay, that name kind of seems like it
For
could
whatever
be.
reason, I would have been A-okay with that. I would have
Yeah.
been like more chill with that.
So that's
but-
just like a weird
okay.
subtitle
Ton Petty.
issue thing. But yeah, it's Ton Petty.
I couldn't believe that shit. So
Oh, dude, I just want to like tell you some of the names from like way later
Don't.
parts. It's
don't because I enjoyed Ton
it's
Petty.
so good.
It
There's-
annoyed the shit out of me in a good way. It was, God damn it.
Yeah, that's one of the classic kind of names here. But yeah.
Okay, so-
Tom Petty. So yeah, basically, we're skipping over one thing really quick is that Jonathan gets separated from the group
Sure.
and he gets tied up in these chains by
Yeah,
targets.
he
But
gets, he gets like
basi-
it's around his neck, right? With some
yeah.
with some
Big
it's
lock.
like choker or some shit.
Yeah. But everyone's outside, and oh no, actually, when they were flying over,
What about when they're flying over?
that's when he has the flashback to Tom Petty.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was just, look, we need to get to the flashback because of the prophecy.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the prophecy,
All right.
man.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
I wanted to get to the meat.
That's the big thing, is there was a prophecy when Zeppeli was training.
Yeah, Zeppeli sought out Tom Petty. But, I mean, I believe it was like day one, Tom Petty told Zeppeli, like, if you go any further with your training, if you, like, go forward with this Haman, like, business, this will be the death of you.
Yeah, he was very vague when they first met, but he was like, yeah, basically like, I'll train you, but you got bad things coming. and then yeah, it kind of later on you get more of the flashback where it's like they're up on this another cool
Tightrope.
setting thing, even though it was a flashback.
That's later. That's in.
Oh, that's later.
Yeah, no, that's in the next, I believe.
Oh, and then was it the next? All right, never mind, guys. We haven't watched the next episode. All right, so maybe I just cut that out. I don't know. We'll think about that. If you're hearing this, surprise. So yeah, there's this prophecy that Zeppeli is remembering, but we're not hearing.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't let anyone know about this.
Which seems kind of silly.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think about Speedwagon and Jonathan. Like, they're both so like
eager.
Yeah, like I feel like they would just freak out if they knew something like this. Whereas Zeppeli's more like,
it'll happen when it happens type of thing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to mess you guys up mentally.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen. If it happens now, it happens now. If it happens later, it happens later.
Right.
He's the most mature out of all of them in terms of something like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for
being
sure.
able to sacrifice himself. Like, anytime anyone gets hurt in this, like, of all the people and of all this whole crew right now, like, Speedwagon freaks out the most, I think.
Yeah.
And Jonathan is very concerned and wants to
help and
really help.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like if Jonathan knew something like this was going to happen, he might like break his back freaking trying to do something.
He'd go above and beyond. So, I mean, I feel like Speedwagon freaking out, though, that has a lot to do with the fact that he has the least amount of Haman. You know? He can't help.
Yeah, no.
Yet.
Yeah, no. I
imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not much he can do in his current.
He's a hype man right now.
He's a hype man right now,
but he's the best fucking hype man there is. Love Speedwagon.
Yeah, so this might be a good time. Have I introduced to you the concept of a Joe Bro?
No, you haven't.
All right, so here's a fun thing, guys. Every season, or every part rather, there's a Joe Bro.
Okay.
And it's usually one person. Sometimes there's multiple Joe Bros, but typically there is one ultimate bro for JoJo.
Nice.
So that's just kind of how it works, and it's universally accepted that Speedwagon is, of course, the Joe Bro for Phantom Blood. But I'll just spoil this now. There's 8 parts currently. Part 8 is still ongoing, but it's kind of universally accepted that Speedwagon's top tier Joe Bro.
Really?
Yeah.
After all these other parts, he's still number 1? And Phantom...
Now, I don't know that he's not my number 1.
Okay.
But he's like... Speedwagon is just one of those like legendary JoJo characters. Like, everyone universally loves Speedwagon.
And Phantom Blood is still... I mean, you're like, Phantom Blood, guys, you know, it's still... but he's still in everyone's hearts like that? That's legit.
I'll just say this. Speedwagon has a lasting impact.
Shit, yeah, he does.
For in the JoJo universe.
Okay, I'm into it.
That's all I'll say. But
nice.
But yeah, he's definitely not. There's Joe Bros ahead of him for me, but you guys will have to hear about that at a later date because I can't spoil who my Joe Bros are.
Wow, man, I'm excited, but now I'm kind of worried.
Why?
Well, I mean, what if another Joe Bro comes along and pushes Speedwagon out of my heart?
Speedwagon. This is the thing with Speedwagon, is that Speedwagon is always somewhere in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
No one can replace Speedwagon. He's just always there.
Okay.
If he disappears, then you just got to go find him again, and he'll come back.
Okay.
I don't know. He's just always
All right.
he's always in your heart.
All right, man. I do
Or
love
he's
me
not.
some Speedwagon. I would. A good barometer would be like if you meet someone who's into JoJo and you ask them, you like Speedwagon, or is Speedwagon just like universally loved?
I mean, I really think that Speedwagon is universally loved.
Okay. If I ever meet anyone who doesn't like Speedwagon,
I'm pretty sure of all
throwing
the
hands.
of all the other Joe Bros, like people can bicker all day. Like there's some other ones that are pretty universal, but I think even still, like Speedwagon is just one of those characters that I don't like. Anyone who's into JoJo at all, like I just don't know that you'd find almost anyone who would be like fuck Speedwagon.
Okay. Legit.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Pretty
I'm gonna
sure,
start
guys.
looking. Listeners,
Put your stock in Speedwagon.
well, yeah, throw all your money in Speedwagon. But I am curious if there are any listeners out there who are not like on Speedwagon's hype so far with this this binge with us. Let us know, please. I'm curious what your problem is with Speedwagon and why your parents didn't raise you properly. So let's continue.
So yeah, we got this prophecy. And yeah, I mean, I think that kind of just to bookend what we were saying. Yeah, I think Zeppelin made the right move, not saying anything.
Right. I will say I agree with you with a little asterisk.
Okay.
I'll say that. And I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to say I agree with you with a little asterisk, and we're going to leave that there.
All right. So, all right. The next big thing that happened, another big moment, is just this, I think, helpful flashback for Poco.
Oh, yeah, with his sister?
Yeah, because they didn't need to do this, but yeah, I mean, it's in the manga, but yeah, we get this nice flashback with Poco. Basically, there's like essentially no way to get in to this place. But there's these little cross-shaped crawl spaces up on the side, and Poco is like, his justification is that he's got this sister who is kind of his like guardian angel kind of
always
thing.
looking out
like,
for him.
Always looking out for her little bro. And he's like, if we can't get in here, then no one's going to be able to stop Dio.
Right.
And my sister's going to die. But I mean, you have this really great, in the flashback, he's getting beat up by these bullies. And his sister comes up and runs him off. And, she's saying like, are you ever going to fight them? And he's like, I'll fight him tomorrow. I'll fight him tomorrow. And she's basically saying like, you can't wait. Like you got to do it or whatever. And current day, when Poco's going in,
he's waiting. He's sort of like hanging back, waiting for one of the other guys to figure out a way in, and they just can't, because this is something I like. Hammond has like limitations. Baron Zeppeli, he couldn't break through the iron door. So
yeah, I mean that is important for Hammond, like.
Yeah, it's just not like
lore.
Yeah, it's not like this hand wave magic that you can do anything, which I appreciate.
And he basically says like, I can't use it for destruction.
It's about life. It's about energy. It's about restoring, which is good. So yeah, that's the thing. But Zeppeli, he can't break through the door. Speedwagon, he's there trying to hype him up, but there's nothing he can do. Meanwhile, JoJo's in there getting choked out like a little bitch, and Poco is outside, and like you were saying, he can't wait. I mean, he has to step up now.
Yeah, so he steps up and he's crawling through and he recalls this memory and everything. But yeah, you get this really great moment where he gets in. He gets kicked by Tarkus.
Yeah.
into the wall. And
but he's a real one.
Yeah, he's a real one. And Bloody, like crawling to the crank that opens the door. He says, tomorrow is now.
My dude.
Tomorrow is now?
My dude.
He stepped up. Poco steps up.
He fought.
Yeah. Opens the door and like... So far, this is like, I love this fucking ending.
Yeah.
Like with Roundabout and everything. Like, Yeah, I mean, this is like this ending just always sends shivers.
Okay, all
Like
right.
it gives me chills. Like yeah, basically the door opens. They're like, we can get in, Poco. Speedwagon goes over to Poco, and Zeppeli's just like got his head down, hat tipped down, basically saying like he remembers
The rest.
Tom Petty saying like a child will open the door to unleash a caged lion into
Yeah.
the future, and he's like, if this is my fate, I'll just have to accept it. And Speedwagon's like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? And he just walks in, and you get this fucking shot. Like he just like puts his hand out. I don't even know why, but just got this freeze frame, and that would be enough. But you got Roundabout playing in his fucking face, just like
Yeah.
his like stoic, just Zeppeli face, just plastered on the screen,
So that's why.
about to face Tarkus.
Yeah. No. Beautiful ending. Great. But that's why I said I agree with you with an asterisk.
All right, what's the asterisk?
That motherfucker couldn't remember the entire part of the prophecy where like, hey, a little boy is involved and he's gonna have to let you into something. Like I don't know. If I had that prophecy over my head, I'm staying away from all children. I'm just like not going around any fucking castles. I don't know. I just feel like yeah.
Yeah, but he's also got to accept it.
No,
He
you're
knows
right.
gonna
He's a
accept
warrior. He set out on this path to destroy this mask, and
it. I mean, he did try and stop Poco from going in.
yeah, man, fuck. It's just I don't think things are gonna end well with our boy Zeppeli, and I'm a little perturbed, I'm a little worried. All right,
Whatever happens, you know he's gonna take it like a champ.
yeah, that's what he do. Because
Yeah.
he's a real one.
Um.
Everyone on Team JoJo is a real one. Did you want to get into your scores now?
Oh, okay, sure. So right now mine is fights, characters, which is whether that's new characters introduced or character development, outfits, style, setting, and basically story plot development. But like I don't.
That may change. Who knows?
It may change. Like I was thinking afterwards, like should I put like animation in there?
I mean, it's an anime show. I don't know.
It's just all animation. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. The animation's always really solid throughout. So
right.
All right.
Where are we at?
all right. So essentially fights. So I'm just thinking right now out of
Mhm.
5.
Okay, you're doing out of 5. All right.
Yeah, just because out of 10, I mean that's kind of
It's double 5.
that's true.
yeah.
So, but like, do I make it like 4 like fists?
Ooh.
4 like
Nah,
what's
you got to do like
4 Danny heads?
like 5 turquoise overdrives or some shit like that.
Yeah. And then maybe it can change like part to part depending.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so
Should we get into like posting our scores on Twitter eventually? Like when we release these things, we'll get into that.
yeah,
too.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
get into it. All right, so for fights, out of 5, I'm on overdrives. I have it at 4 because I think like because we've gotten a couple fights at this point, and they've been cool and all, but like I just think the fight with Bruford,
Mhm.
while it's short,
It's sweet.
it's really sweet, and it's fight and development at the same time.
Those are sorry to interrupt, but those are the types of fights I like the most. I mean, a good slobber knocker is always good for like wow factor, but nothing tugs at my heartstrings more than someone who you thought was a villain like laying down arms with the hero and like talking it out for a second. I really appreciate that. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I got it at fights at 4. And then characters, like I said, I think this feeds in with at least the Bruford fight. I have characters at 4.5 because
hey, asshole, how are you doing 4.5 but you're like no for 10?
you
said
points.
okay, but then isn't it still 10 if you're doing points?
I just would rather have the points than number. Okay, fine. You want to do it out of 10?
No.
10 Hamon overdrives?
No. Keep doing your points. It's
I
just,
won't do like 0.7 or something.
No, I know, but if you do 4.5,
Okay, it's out of 10, but it's 5.
whatever. Keep going.
4.5 Hamon overdrives for characters because while Bruford is a minor villain, you get that character development with Bruford. I think it
helps JoJo.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It furthers our understanding of the extent of Jonathan's resolve and his heart.
Yeah.
That he would do this for a villain. And after Bruford is dead, like Jonathan succeeds, but he like takes a moment and is like, the only way to free his soul was to kill him.
Yeah.
And he feels bad about it.
Yeah, but now he finally gets to rest an honorable death, first of all, which is, great.
Yeah. And then you get all the backstory with Zeppeli, and you get a little bit of Poco backstory.
Yeah.
So I just think there was quite a bit of character development just all around.
Okay.
Outfits at a low number, 2. It's just an arbitrary number. The outfits, nothing's really going on with the outfits right now. I think, we didn't even get... Yeah, I mean, everyone's just kind of wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
That they've been wearing. Nothing special in the outfit department. Setting 3.5. I think we really only had. I mean, we really only had the these like training camp thing,
right.
This little castle. But that's really the only, like, before that it was just some cliffside.
But then there was that field that JoJo or Jonathan restored, brought all that beauty back to it.
Right. Maybe I'll bump it up to a 4. I don't know. I think, look, I'll stick with 3.5.
Okay.
I think the little field and the place is enough for a solid 3.5. Right down the middle. Good stuff.
Sweet.
And then overall plot development, I have it at a 4.
Okay.
Because I mean, these are kind of the last big. These two characters were the last big roadblock to Dio. So they're free to fully enter the town.
Okay.
After
here we
this.
go.
And all the character development's kind of plot.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, I don't know. 4, 4.5, 2, 3.5, 4.
Okay.
Next time on Wasteland. If our fates are the same, then we're gonna leave the world together, basically.
And I will say, as much as I love you and think of you as a brother, I never want your decapitated head resting on my chest on a burning ship.
I'll be the roundabout.